Hello guys and welcome to another MK Mobile character review, today featuring Day of the Dead Kitana. As usual guys, please note the date when this video has been recorded because a lot of things may have changed since then, and if you're not familiar with the matrix I'm using in order to evaluate characters, you can find it on the top right corner of the screen. So without any further ado, let us put Day of the Dead Kitana to the test. Day of the Dead Kitana guys was released on the 13th of October 2016 and her original price in the old store was 410 souls. Of course, one thing led to another, and at some point, just about update 2.0, she got promoted to Diamond. Luckily for her, she wasn't destroyed in the process and she's still viable outside of a Day of the Dead team. So let's take a look at her stats. Her attack is 47,250, which is the 19th highest in the game. The hit points, they are 91,392 and they rank 24th highest in MK Mobile. The toughness is 54,432, which is the 4th highest in the game. And the recovery is 61,614, which is the highest in Mortal Kombat Mobile. The power generation is just 100%. So for her stats, the Day of the Dead Kitana is going to get 20.5 out of 28 possible points. Special 1 of Kitana guys is called Vortex, and it is really weird. Actually it looks weird because Kitana sends something like a tornado of roses towards the enemy and somehow harms him in the process. Anyways, let's get into details. First of all, the ability can be completely blocked by the opponent. It has Weaken as debuff, as mentioned already. It can be cast from distance without any issues. It is lethal, it consists of only one mini hit, and it has the multi-tap circle as mini game. And another thing that I noticed is that I couldn't find any repetitive pattern in the way this special attack behaves after combo ender. Sometimes the enemy will block, sometimes the enemy will start running towards you and in the process he won't block, so I cannot say whether it is 100% safe to do this special ability immediately after either of the Dead Kitana combo enders. With that said, let's move to damage. The minimum damage of the ability is 17,931, which is the 32nd highest in the game. The maximum damage is average as well, 35,863, which is the 29th highest in MK Mobile. Once again, the ability can be blocked by the opponent, it has Weaken as debuff, it can be cast from distance, it is lethal, it consists of only one mini hit, and it has the multi-tap circle as minigame. So for her special 1, Day of the Dead Kitana is going to get the impressive 9.2 out of 13 possible points. Special 2 of Kitana guys is called Ancestral Celebration, and if not blocked is one of the best looking abilities in the game. So let's take a look at it in more details. First of all, like I mentioned, it is a problem if the ability gets blocked, so please make sure that the enemy will never ever block it. In addition, it has Poison as debuff, it can be cast from distance even though the first 2 mini attacks will miss, but this is not a big deal because the bulk of the damage is delivered on the next mini hit, so it's not a big problem at all. It is lethal, it consists of 7 mini hits, and it has the 2 multi-tap circles as mini game. And like her special 1, I was unable to determine whether her special 2 follows smoothly after her combo enders. Sometimes it will connect, sometimes it will not connect. I have no idea how safe it is to use it immediately after a combo ender. Let us say that you have 50% chance not to get her special 2 blocked after successful combo ender. When it comes to damage, the minimum damage of the ability is 46,622, which is the 24th highest in the game, and the maximum damage is 91,450, which is again the 24th highest in the game. And once again, let's repeat the properties of the ability. It can be blocked by the opponent, it has Poison as debuff, it can be cast from distance, it is lethal, it consists of 7 mini hits, and it has the 2 multi-tap circles as minigame. So for her special 2, Day of the Dead Kitana is going to get 12.4 out of 19 possible points. The X-ray of Kitana guys is called Slice and Dice, and here it is what you need to know about it. First of all, it can be cast from distance, so it is quite safe to use it if you're not exactly next to the enemy, and second of all, it has Blind as debuff, which is not the worst debuff for an X-ray, but definitely it is not the best. When it comes to damage, the damage of the ability is 112,968, which ranks the 27th highest in the game. Once again, the X-ray has blind as debuff, and it can be cast from distance. So for her third special attack, Kitana gets 3.1 out of 4 possible points, and the total amount of points she gets for her special attacks adds up to 27.9 out of 36 possible. The basic attacks of the other Kitana, guys, are not really that bad. Now let's start with the negatives first. She has very bad recovery speed, which is a big problem if you have cornered the enemy. If this is the case, then you have to immediately do special 1 after the end of either of your combo enders. Otherwise, you're going to get destroyed by the enemy. This is how slow the recovery speed of the other Kitana is. Another thing that is bad is that she simply punches slow, and that's it. To be honest with you, I don't know if it is just me, but every time when I play the other Kitana and I am using her actively, the enemy characters almost never block. I'm not quite sure whether this is just me or this also happens to you guys, but in general they simply don't block. The few cases they will block, enemy will get pushed away by the Kitana combo ender, which is pretty good because she can do that without having any block breaker equipment. And yeah, in general, I don't think that her basics are bad. I think that she has above average basic attacks, but simply she is a slow fighter, and the thing is, when she corners an enemy, it is really bad for her because of her really slow recovery speed, and this really puts her not in a great light when it comes to her being the main fighter of the team. If we have to add to this the inconsistent chaining of her special 1 and special 2 after combo enders, then yeah, I would say that she deserves something like 7.2 out of 10 possible points for her basic attacks. They're not terrible, but definitely she is not one of the best fighters in Mortal Kombat Mobile. The passive of Kitana, guys, is called Lady of the Dead, and here it is what it does. On enemy resurrection, and when anyone is defeated, Kitana and Outward teammates receive regen that recovers 40% of their health over 10 seconds. The other Kitana is immune to bleed, and when it comes to synergy, opponent assassin characters have dodge chance reduced by 10%. Now, I am going to be honest, this is one of the very best passives in the game. First of all, because it works on everybody basically. Of course, you have to be an Outworld character in order to receive the regen, but if you kill anybody, this also includes, let's say, Oshtek summoned by Dark Lord Kotal Khan, or any kind of summoned character, then your team, if it is an Outworld team, will regenerate, and that is insane. Even though the effectiveness of this passive has been reduced in survival mode, it is still very useful. You can just tag out a character who is extremely low, then kill another character of an enemy team, wait 20 seconds, and there you go. If we combine the recovery that he's going to get and the regeneration he's going to get thanks to Kitana's passive, he's going to get to full HP in less than 30 seconds, and that's really, really beautiful. So in general, one of the best passives in the game, and I'm truly grateful to Warner Brothers that they didn't butcher this wonderful character's passive while they are promoting her to Diamond, because this was the case with many other great golds in the past. Now Diamond, such as for example Cold War Sonya, her passive used to be great. Now thanks to survival mode, it is serviceable, but not being even close to being great compared to what she used to be in the past. Thankfully, this is not the thing with the Lady of the Dead, or in other words, the Dead Kitana is still one of the best diamonds with the best passives in the game. So I will be giving her 20.5 for her passive. I will giving her 0.5 on top of the regular 20, because I truly believe that her passive is slightly better, and it's like, it is an entirely new level of passive. It is great in every single game mode, and it is great even when Kitana is Fusion 0, so one of the most useful passives in the game. Kitana is just an Outworld character, so she gets 1 point for classes and 0 points for tagging attack. Okay guys, it is time to decide whether the Deadly Kitana is a good character, and the answer is simple. Of course she is. In fact, she is one of the best supports in the game by far. Let's take a look at the bigger picture. She has decent stats, decent special attacks, decent basic attacks, and amazing passive. I would say her passive is a game changer. This is how good it is. All in all, Kitana is useful from Fusion 0 all the way to Fusion 10. She's a decent fighter, but her main strength lies in the fact that she can turn the tides of any battle, and she can be useful in any game mode. Of course, she isn't really that useful against bosses, and probably this is the only fight where Deadly Kitana feels like useless, because, I mean, she can just weaken the bosses, her poison won't work, her passive is not going to be that useful on bosses because they don't die that often, let's go this way. So in general, yeah, very useful character. She's not useful only against bosses, everywhere else she shines. In an outward team, you can put any outward character together with Deadly Kitana, and the team is going to be incredibly strong. This is the reason why I'll be giving her 3 out of my 3 subjective points. Once again, I really enjoy playing any team with Deadly Kitana. To be honest, I consider any team with her to be unfair. This is how strong she is. Regardless of the fact that they nerf her passive in survival mode, it is still incredibly useful, and it is almost impossible to lose if you have strong outward characters together with Day of the Dead Kitana. So 3 out of my 3 subjective points, and with them she's going to score 81.1 on our scale, which is 17th place on the current rankings. She ranked just above Cold War Sub-Zero and just below Dark Emperor Liu Kang. So the final verdict for Day of the Dead Kitana is going to be amazing character. Okay guys, we got to the strangest part of the video. I am saying strangest because it is really difficult for me to say anything here. Now let's start with the fact, actually the question whether Kitana should be your opener. And the answer is, if you can keep her alive, and if you have some other character in your team who can tag in and destroy enemies, then yes, I would say Kitana is going to be a good opener because you're not going to use her actively anyways. But if you're not sure whether you can keep her alive, then better save her. Better just put her in the back and don't use her as your opener. What I mean is, if you have, for example, 100% resistance to stun, if you have the item that freezes the enemy on start, I just forgot its name, I believe it was called the Ice Bomb. So if you have this, then yeah, Kitana can be your pretty good opener because you can give her all the gear that can paralyze, stun, set on fire, whatever the opener of the enemy, and then you can tag her out to safety. If you do that, then you are perfectly fine. If you cannot do that, then please do not use Kitana as your starter. When it comes to her equipment, guys, literally I can say that anything goes on her. If she is your starter, then just give her some equipment to resist stun, equipment to freezes the enemy in the beginning, or some kind of other equipment that can disable the enemy in some way. It doesn't matter. The point is, once again, she has to stay alive. She shouldn't be your fighter. She is simply not the best fighter in the world. If you have Deadly Kitana as a diamond character, this definitely means that you have other diamond cards that are better fighters than her. And I mean other outward diamond cards, of course. But if you want to use her as a fighter, then just go ahead. Give her Bladed Fan, then just spam special 1. Apart from that, there is no other real advice that I can give you. And when it comes to the teams, Deadly Kitana should be in an outworld team. If you follow this, you are going to destroy everybody. And of course, she shines in a Day of the Dead team, but it is not really required that she's going to be in a Day of the Dead team in order for her to be useful, and this is the most beautiful part of Deadly Kitana. Also remember that she works with items such as the Frost Orb that saves you, the Living Dead that saves you, and so on and so forth. Also, she works pretty great with characters such as Dark Lord Kotal Khan, because if he loses an Osh tech, then the the passive of Kitana is going to get triggered. So this is one very interesting team. It is slow, but it's almost unbeatable. Okay guys, there did Kitana. What do you think of her? Do you like her? Do you dislike her? Please let me know in the comments. Once again, she scored 81.1 and we labeled her as an amazing character. She does deserve it. As usual guys, if you want to see more reviews, you can find the playlist on the top right corner of the screen. See you next time guys. Take care and stay safe.
My fury is unrelenting.
Well done. Perfect.